Happy New Year, Cancer. It's 2018. Dadhichi here from astrology.com.au. Welcome. And to those of you that are new, this is a very brief synopsis of what's going on as a general overview of 2018. And straight off we can see here this power-packed 7th house, the western part of your horoscope, which you'll note that late in 2017, Saturn had indeed made a shift into this area for the first time in 2.5 years. And this is significant because Saturn is the planet of responsibility. Pluto here, containing these 4 planets, or rather the other 2, the planet of transformation. That's already been there for some years, but the weight of the relationship challenges you have may start to show during this movement of Saturn here. Now, Saturn is the ruler of your relationships, and we can see very strongly the connection here with Venus and also the Sun. So right at the moment of the year commencing, there's no doubt you will be feeling the pressure here, and in some ways some constrictions, because Saturn does not give you a lot of wiggle room. You may be feeling quite uncomfortable about the relationship. Perhaps it's got to do with space. You're not being given the space that you need. And this planet transits this area for up to 2.5 years. So it's a bit of a long haul. You're not going to solve any of the problems that you have there straight away. However, we do see 2 friendly planets here, Mars and Jupiter, in the 5th house. Notice that these are at the right angle to the north and south node, which indicates some karmic elements going on here. Hard aspects to the romance and love affairs area. This shows us you're wanting to develop and grow the relationship side of your life. But with these right angles, this is actually what's called a T-square, according to Western astrology. And with these rather constricting and transformative influences in your 7th house of marriage, this is not exactly an easy start to the year. Let's take a look also at the end of January on the 31st in the sign of Leo, your 2nd house, where your north node or karmic planet is transiting. A lunar eclipse taking place at 11 degrees near to this eclipse, near to this north node, finance sector. So some things start to happen around that time of the year as far as finances are concerned. And let's just get this working on the week by week basis. That's just after the eclipse, and you can see here a lot of stuff happening in the 9th house of the horoscope at that time, which has to do with legalities, long journeys, travels, that type of thing. You see also here by around March the clearing up to a large extent of the 7th house until Mars moves in around March 21, 22. That also coincides with the transit of the Sun into this 10th house or professional area. A lot of stuff, a lot of developments there in your work, nice aspects to the nodes, and a bit of a shift away from here. Although you do have some struggles still, because these right angles show the communication problems you may be having and the frustration that is evident from that Mars and Saturn combination. Mars moves out of there. A few stationary retrograde positions also taking place here in your 7th house of marriage. So here revisionary aspects take place while the planets are retrograde. The July 28 lunar eclipse takes place here in your 11th house, just as the moon swings around here. We'll just go back a little bit there. I'm going backwards and forwards. It's about here. It's a little bit, it'll take place up here in the area of, let's have a look here. I'm getting myself all twisted in knots, sorry. The July 28, lunar eclipse takes place. Now how can that take, yes, in Aquarius over here, my apologies, I've got to go back. Just after this date here. And you'll notice here that the position of the moon next to Mars will also be taking part in this eclipse in the latter part of July. And this is the area of shared resources, psychological transformations. And unfortunately, having Mars there can be some disputes. We see also the stationary, is that a direct or retrograde? Let's have a look here. It's stationary retrograde. So some problems in communications can also continue up into August here, as you can see. So important that you get all of your contractual agreements in place and you make sure that there's an understanding before you make any agreements, because I've talked to you about this being all about relationships, and relationships are all about communication. August 11, you'll see this planet, the moon, will swing around here into this second house, and that will also take part in the solar eclipse, again, in the financial part of your horoscope. And Mars partaking of that is not a pleasant one, so you can expect disputes, arguments, and maybe even litigious sorts of ramifications if you're not careful to cross your T's and dot your I's at that time. There are a couple of other important transits. This one here, I think later in the year, around November, is particularly important. That's nice to see, the Venus and Jupiter and Mercury combination, September, October, although Venus goes retrograde at that time. But this is a very strong combination for love affairs. Again, the challenge is there from the Moon and Mars, what's called Chandra Mangala Yoga, in your 8th house of sexuality. Jupiter's still here, but Jupiter moves out of here on November 8th. And what you'll see is a shift in energies in the latter part of the year from all of these relationship components to the workplace activities. So work is going to take on a whole new meaning. And Jupiter, of course, is the planet of amplification. It grows and expands anything that it touches. So you can expect a lot more work coming your way in the latter part of 2018. And also, this planet is the ruling planet for the 6th house. So this has a strong focus also on your health and your well-being, and maybe even how your health is tied in with your professional activities. I've prepared a full 3,000 word overview for each of the 12 star signs, including yours, Cancer. So if you want to pop into astrology.com.au, you'll be able to see exactly in more detail what's happening in a whole sort of array of areas of your life there. Your finances, your relationships, your luck, your karma, and your spirituality, shown by the very strong Neptune passing through your 9th house at this point. So do pop in there, and I hope you'll join me again next month for February 2018. Take care. Bye-bye now.